Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be right back with this week's Wednesday Wisdom guest. But as always, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, come on, don't hit that fast forward button. These are all companies that I used as an athletic director. They're all great companies. I highly recommend that you use them too. So take the next 3 minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our guest, and then go and visit these sponsors. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. We want to say thanks to Vital Signs Wall of Fame for their support. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards or your school's Hall of Fame, go to Vital Signs Wall of Fame and check out their interactive touchscreen video consoles. I'm telling you, you put one of these in your gym lobby or your main school hallway, it's going to be a magnet for kids, for coaches, even teachers, parents. How about alums and sponsors? Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Check out their great products today. We also want to say thank you to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but as an AD, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school. Our coaches just loved the tools that Huddle provided. Our student athletes love the videos, and our parents love the streaming, but there's so much more. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users, and turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to say thanks to Home Campus. Home Campus is a platform you will use every single day, whether it's scheduling or rosters, results. For me, the athletic eligibility and clearance platform alone is the best. Go to homecampus.com for more information. Make sure you mention the podcast. Homecampus.com. We also want to say thanks to Snap. Have you ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and been disappointed in the results? Well, those days are gone. Go to snapraise.com. It's hands down the best online fundraiser out there. We used it at our school because it works. Go to snapraise.com. Check out their other great platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it. It's snapraise.com. We also want to say thank you to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com, and their team is going to have you creating world-class content in seconds. Whether it's a social media post to celebrate a big win or an entire newsletter to showcase all the great things your program is doing, the team at Gipper will have you up and running in no time. It's professional graphic design made easy. Go to Gipper.com for more information. We also want to thank Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and you can schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. Probably the best purchase I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Don't forget to mention the podcast, sidelineinteractive.com. We also want to thank Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. My assistant athletic director, along with thousands of others, got his master's through the Ohio program, and it was great. It's very affordable, just 20 months, totally online. And while you're completing your master's, you also complete 11 NIAAA leadership training courses. No extra charge. Check out the Ohio University online masters in athletic administration. We would also like to thank Hometown. Whether you're an athletic director, a coach, Hometown is changing the game for schools and organizations with their solutions for things like digital ticketing, of course, but also fee-free fundraising, athletic websites, and a whole lot more. As I said, whether you're an athletic director, a coach, or a school administrator, Hometown is making it easy for you to save time, raise more money, and bring your community together. Go to hometown.com for more information. That's hometown.com. We also want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Athletic directors already get feedback, but a lot of times it's from a very small group that just wants to complain. Athletic Surveys will connect you to that group, but they're also going to connect you to the 98% that supports your program. And that's a tremendously valuable piece of information to have, especially when you're visiting with a frustrated parent, maybe your principal, or even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We've got somebody I like to call a friend of the show back with us, Lindsay Walter. If you're a regular listener, you'll remember Lindsay was on a while back with a full interview. She also contributed to Wednesday Wisdom. Um, if you're not a regular listener, you really need to go back and listen to those segments. Just a little bit about Lindsay. She was a very successful, college athlete. She is now a marathon and ultra marathon runner. Also, is the founder of an organization called Lindsay's Pals. We're going to hope that she shares a little bit about that. And just an incredibly inspiring story. Google, if you will, Lindsay Walter to find out more. But Lindsay, welcome back to Wednesday Wisdom.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be back.
You and I were talking for our listeners that are listening. You can't see Lindsay is rocking her Duke Blue Devils sweatshirt. It's March Madness upon us. We're recording this on March 6th, so it's going to be very timely when you hear it. Lindsay, before you jump into Wednesday Wisdom, can you briefly share a little bit about your story? Because it's such a compelling story. I want our listeners to not just hear more about you, but also maybe go back and listen to those episodes. So, as I like to say, give us your life story in 2 minutes, and then we're going to let you share your Wednesday Wisdom segment.
Okay, perfect. So I'm Lindsay Walter. I grew up in Slinger, Wisconsin. I lost my hair when I was 2 years old due to the autoimmune condition alopecia. I'm 34 now, so at the time, social media or anything like that wasn't a thing. So I never saw anyone else with my condition, so it made it really hard. I felt very alone and isolated. I was bullied a ton. I wore a wig for a good like 20 years. Just to kind of blend in with my classmates and peers. I played sports. I played high school and college basketball. I still wore my wig for that entire time. Just really struggled a lot with just like self-acceptance and yeah, just not having hair as a female. I felt like that was really hard. And then after college, I decided to run a marathon. I didn't think it would snowball into everything that it has, but here I am, like almost 55 marathons later, several 100 milers, couple 6 day races, and I just love it. Through the sport of running, I really learned to love, accept, and embrace my alopecia and my bald head. And I've learned just so much about, what's really important in life. It's not, whether I do or don't have hair, but who I am as a person and what I, can give to others and like bring to the world. I started a foundation called Lindsay's Little Pals for kids and teens with alopecia. And I have pen pals all over the world, which is crazy. But it's just so incredible to get to be that mentor and friend to someone else and to say, I walked through that life. I understand like what you're going through. Because I think for me, that was one of the hardest things is when someone would say, like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's just hair. Like, I understand. And, for me, I was like, you don't understand though, because like you have hair. So to get to be that person for someone else is just honestly, no race medal can really compare to that. Just to my pen pals, they mean a lot to me. And I've just been really blessed to be able to share my story just about alopecia and running and everything. And yeah, that's pretty much me.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that. And again, for listeners, if you're not familiar with Lindsay's story, please, Google her. She's pretty active on social media, easy to follow, add her to your contacts and, share her story, maybe even bring her to your school, have her share the story with your students, your student athletes. Well, Lindsay, this is Wednesday Wisdom. We're here to take advantage of your great perspective. What do you have for our listeners this week on your second Wednesday Wisdom segment?
So my theme of the day is goal setting.
All right. Well, again, I think a lot of people that have goals to maybe start exercising. Your goals include 6 day races and beyond. What sort of tips or advice do you have for our listeners on goal setting?
Yeah, I think a few kind of key points I would say is setting a goal that means the most to you. and not comparing yourself to someone else. So I think, not everyone is a runner, and which is totally okay. But I think, the biggest message can be, whether it's running or it's anything else, setting a goal that means a lot to you. That way it's going to help keep you motivated. You're not trying to compare yourself to someone else. You're not trying to compete against someone else, but it's something that you can do and that will help you feel the most proud. My pastor always says comparison is a thief of joy. And I really believe that. And I think, controlling what you can control, if you're, always trying to do better than someone else instead of doing it for yourself, like you can't control what anyone else is doing. Again, running, I think, something that comes to mind as a runner myself is like, someone could be having an incredible day, an incredible race, everything like goes right for them and they beat you, which is fine. But if you have a goal and your goal, was a certain time or a certain distance and you worked hard and you achieve your goal, like someone beating you doesn't take away like what you've worked hard and like what you've strived for. Um, I think with goals as well, not being afraid to challenge yourself and set a really big goal. I think sometimes we live in a state of just like fear, just because we have this goal and we know it's going to be hard to achieve. And so we just like don't even try to go for it because we're afraid of failing. Whereas I believe that the only way you can really fail at something is if you just quit and you give up. I think there's been many times where I've like, okay, I wanted to get this time in a race and I haven't gotten it, but I've always crossed the finish line and I don't see that as failure. I see that as a learning opportunity. Of course you can be disappointed, like when you put in so much work and time and effort and it doesn't, work out the way you want it to, just, pinpoint like what went wrong. But if you finish and gave it your best for that day, I don't consider that a failure. So I think like not being afraid to like set that big goal and go after something. And along with that, not worrying about like what other people say. Not everyone is going to believe in you and your abilities, but you know yourself. Whereas like if your goal means a lot to you, you're going to stay motivated and you're going to keep working hard no matter what other people are going to say. I think back to when I wanted to run my first 100 miler, after they canceled the Boston Marathon, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try a 100 miler. I had this person that I know in Charlotte. He's a run coach and whatnot, and he told me that I will never run a 100 miler, that I am too thin and I am not strong enough. And hearing him say that to me, he didn't mean it in like a mean way, but he just thought he was being like very honest, which and also very judgmental. But anyways, he said that to me and I was like, oh, okay. But then, deep inside, I was like, I knew I was going to run that 100 miler. Like, I knew I was going to finish. I was like, I am so mentally strong. Like, I know it's going to be hard and I know it's going to be a challenge, but I just continued to believe in myself and continue to work hard. And I remember when I was going through that first 100 and there was like a hurricane in the distance and we had these like crazy downpours. I was like one of the only people who didn't stop and rest. And I just kept going and I finished in like the second fastest time. But I just remember like hearing his voice like in my head saying like, you're never going to finish it, like you're not strong enough. But I just continued to like believe in myself and I had this goal of just finishing the 100 miler, getting my belt buckle and everything. And I think because that goal meant so much to me and I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it and that I would do it. And I think had I listened to someone who doesn't know me and who didn't believe in me and thought my goal was like too crazy, then I just, would have quit and just, stopped trying. So I think that goes to say, like, set a goal that means a lot to you. And like, not everyone is going to believe in you. Not everyone is going to be encouraging, but like, those are people that you don't need. And just surround yourself with people that do believe in you and who do encourage you.
Well, great story. Thanks so much for sharing. We have a lot of people that come on, and kind of their deal is, mental sports, mental performance, and they talk about the importance of positive self-talk. And you alluded to it at the beginning about so many people, they talk themselves out of, success before they even get started. Okay, I got to ask the question. You got your 100-mile belt buckle. Did you in a very respectful way, go back to that coach and say, "Hey, coach, look what I got."
Um, so I did not, but I know that he knows about it. We just have mutual acquaintances, and so he's very aware that I finished and did what I did and have. been running several 100s after that.
I,
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Keep posting that frequently on social media so he and others can see that. Um, we both talked about Lindsay's Little Pals. Share with our listeners, what it is and maybe how they can get involved to help support you.
Yeah, so Lindsay's Little Pals is a pen pal program for kids and teens with alopecia in any stage of their alopecia journey. So whether it's universalis, which is total body hair, or it's areata, where you lose your hair and then it can grow back. If you're loving your alopecia and it's been a super great experience, or if you're struggling with your alopecia, just whatever stage you're in, it's for everyone. And it's, yeah, kids and teens. Also, I have several adult pen pals as well. I've just kind of opened it up to anyone who might need a friend or a mentor or just someone to talk to. There's a Facebook page, an Instagram page, or you can reach out to me. It's very easy to find the program. I'm super old school and I've always loved writing letters and getting mail. I just wanted to find a way to like give back to others. I think there's something so meaningful about opening up a letter, knowing someone took that time to write a letter versus like an email. Everyone's all about like emails and their phones and all of that. But I think, opening up a physical letter and seeing that someone took the time to write something to you. So that's kind of how I started Lindsay's Little Pals, just to like reach out and help people. I have pen pals all over the world, which is really incredible. Yeah, just to get to give back. We talk about all things alopecia, or, maybe it's just like having a friend who has alopecia, but we don't maybe not talk about alopecia sometimes, but they like know I'm there and we just have this like common bond. Yeah, it's so many different ages, so many different experiences and like points in their alopecia journey. Yeah, I'm the main person who just writes everything just because it's a lot of like personal information, but I've been super blessed with just a lot of people who have donated stationery, postage, just anything like that, and I'm just so appreciative of that. But yeah, if you know anyone with alopecia, just sharing the page or my contact information. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, let's help out. If nothing else, share the word, spread the word, donate if you can. Before we go, Lindsay, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Without sharing a name or location or something, can you just share how the Pen Pal program, Lindsay's Little Pals, a message that you've gotten that's inspired you, or one that that because they shared with you, it inspired them, just having that connection with you, so they knew that they weren't the only person out there with alopecia.
Yes, so there was one of my pen pals who started playing basketball, and she was just really nervous about being in a new school and trying out for a basketball team. She's having a hard time like with her alopecia, and she has worn like really thick like bandanas. But it was like hard to play like with her bandanas on just because she had like a wig underneath it. And she just, yeah, I was having a hard time. We just talked about, because that's also something I went through. I wore my wig during college basketball, high school basketball. So like I understood like kind of the anxiety that can come with that if someone, accidentally hits you in the head and whatnot, and just having the wig and everything. And we had talked like several times, several letters. And then she went to practice without her wig. And it was the best practice that she's ever had. She made her first basket, and it was just really incredible. And you told me that she was like just so inspired by me, and it just honestly made me cry just because I think of like, wow, like I can't believe I helped someone like that. There's just been a lot of really incredible stories and like moments like that.
Oh, wow. That is so cool. And again, just being able to share and have somebody to talk with that, as you said, truly
Mhm.
understands, what it's like and what they're going through. Great stuff. Well, let's go and do this. If somebody wanted to reach out, get involved, help, donate, or if they just wanted to connect with you and hear more about your story, what's the best way that people can find out more about your foundation and connect with Lindsay Walter?
Yeah, I would say definitely my email is probably the easiest way to reach out to me, just lhwalter3@gmail.com. Or you can find me on Instagram, Lindsay Hannah 3. All that's linked to my Lindsay's Little Pals as well, or on Facebook, Lindsay Hannah is my name. Yeah, it's pretty easy to find. Everything's like public, so
Okay. Well, Lizzie, thanks as always for sharing with us. All the best on your future races. And
thank you.
again, going to continue to follow you on social media because you have some really, really cool posts.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
For listeners, we appreciate you. And just a reminder, we upload the Zoom recordings of every interview to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do this segment just about every week and just about every day. We try to share stories and best practices from the world of athletics. So come back and join us on the next episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. And before we go, of course, we're going to give a shout out to all of our great sponsors. Let's say thanks to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle. As an AD, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com for more information. We'd like to thank Gipper. Go to Gipper.com. Start creating world-class social media content. That's Gipper.com. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Home Campus, you've heard me say before, it's a platform you're going to use every single day. Go to homecampus.com. Vital Signs Wall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. You put one of their consoles in your gym lobby, it's going to be a magnet for kids and coaches. We want to say thank you to Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. I want to thank Hometown. It's more than just online ticketing. Go to hometown.com for more information. Athletic surveys by LifeTrack. If you're not using a survey, you're really missing out. And Snap Raise. Go to snapraise.com. Check out all of their great platforms. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.